Good morning, students. This is the second revision video of the chapter Nationalism in India, and this particular video will discuss the non-cooperation movement. We'll try to understand the impact of non-cooperation movement on towns, in countryside, and on plantation area. We'll also try to analyze that why this movement became unsuccessful, why this movement could not become very successful in the long run. So let us discuss this topic. First of all, we have to understand that what the non-cooperation movement was or what was inherent under the non-cooperation movement. So this movement began in January 1921 and the main aim of this movement was not to cooperate with the Britishers. It included surrendering of government titles, boycott of civil services, army, police, courts and legislative councils. Even the schools and foreign goods were boycotted and a full civil disobedience campaign would be launched. So under this particular movement, it was decided not to cooperate with the Britishers on any ground. Gandhiji was knowing that if they were not going to cooperate the Britishers will be crippled down. The whole administrative setup that was made by the Britishers would be crumbled. So that is why Gandhiji decided to start this movement with the surrendering of government titles. Whatever the title was given by different political leaders at the time by Britishers, it was returned. Similarly, they started boycotting the civil services. Many civil servants left their job. Similarly, army men left their job. Similarly, school children and school teachers left their schools and colleges. And all of them started boycotting, or all of them boycotted the foreign goods. So this created a lot of problem for the Britishers. Britishers' Manchester goods was not getting any market. The import declined to a great extent. So this was going on during that time. So it was the non-cooperation movement that jolted the Britishers from their slumber. Now, what was the aim of this movement? When this movement was started, some objectives were there. So what was those objectives? Let us discuss the aim of this objective. So first of all, the surrender of all the titles and government posts, as we already discussed, that most of the titles were returned and government posts were resigned. Boycott of government schools and colleges. Most of the students left the school and colleges. Even the teachers left the colleges and schools. After that, boycott of all the functions of the British government. After that, all the clerks, all the important administrative officers left their jobs related to the offices. Boycott of law courts. Even the lawyers, they left their practice in the law court. Similarly, boycott of all the foreign articles. So all the foreign goods were boycotted without any discrimination. And after that, many Indian soldiers also, they gave up for policy. Formation of Nyaya Panchayat was also formed in order to provide justice to the local people. Similarly, development of a small scale industry was also developed, and communal harmony was developed in order to unite Hindus and Muslims all together. And as a result, after that, many Hindus and Muslims came together to start this movement. Now, use of Swadeshi articles. When foreign goods were boycotted, at the same time Swadeshi articles were accepted, Swadeshi goods were accepted. Establishment of national schools, it was raised. It was the aim only, but it could not be established in the long run. So it was objective to establish the national schools in which national languages would be promoted, but this remained a dream only. End of untouchability and caste systems. It was another thing that was made as an objective of the non-cooperation movement. It was the end of untouchability, because it was a known fact that without taking support of untouchables, this movement could not become successful. And adoption of non-violence in the whole country. And the most important thing, this movement was based on the pillars of non-cooperation and truth. So the most important thing was the adoption of non-violence in the whole country. So it was the most important thing that was there in the non-cooperation movement. So whatever we discussed, it was the aim. But it is, we have to understand that it is up to the movement that whether these aims were achieved or not. So let us discuss here the meaning of Satyagraha, because we already discussed that truth and non-violence was the two important elements of Satyagraha, and on the Satyagraha, the whole non-cooperation movement was erected. So let us discuss what was the two elements of Satyagraha. So it was the truth and non-violence. Gandhiji guidelines for a Satyagraha in a most famous speech. He should refuse to accept dishonesty and remains peaceful during extreme provocation. He told that we should not accept dishonesty, and we should not just hate the people who are evil. We have to understand that if we are going to give the pain to the opponent, then it may create problem for him. He believed that if you want to establish the truth, there is no need to harm others. We can change the conscience, we can change the heart of opponents if you want to really win the heart of the people. So he told that we have to only hit on the conscience of the people and he will be converted. So this was the thing that was accepted, that was initiated by Gandhiji in the form of Satyagraha, and in the entire life he believed in the truth and non-violence. So let us discuss more that what was the impact of non-cooperation movement on the town. So when the non-cooperation movement started, it created this deep impact in the town, but later on it slowed down. What was the reason for the slowing down of this movement in the town? So two important things were there. First of all, the foreign goods were boycotted, but in place of foreign goods, khadi was introduced that was very expensive. So alternate system was not working in a very well way or in a very good way. And second thing was that lack of Indian institutions. Many students, many teachers, they left their colleges and schools because it was aided by foreign government. But what about the Indian schools? What about the Indian institutions? It was not opened up at the time. So because of lack of Indian institutions, students returned back to those schools, teachers returned back to those schools. So this is how the movement could not gain successful in the town. Now, what was the situation in countryside? So in the countryside, we need to understand that peasants were there, and peasants were doing the begar, and they were working on the farmland of landlords without any payment. And here one important, very prominent leader was there. His name was Baba Ramchandra, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru came together and they set up Awadh Kisan Sabha. And later on, their branches were opened up in different parts of India, and they demanded for abolition of begar system. But here we need to understand that this particular rebellion movement that was going on by the peasants, it could not integrate itself with the main movement of non-cooperation movement, because they were having their own interpretation, they were having their own ideas or own thinking about the non-cooperation movement. So different people interpreted the meaning of non-cooperation in their own way. So this is the another reason why this movement could not become successful, because we already discussed in the town people were thinking in a different way, in the countryside also people were thinking in a different way. Now let us discuss what was the thinking here of the plantation people. So we all know that in the plantation many workers were working day and night, particularly if you are going to talk about the plantation, tea plantation area or coffee plantation area. So here the government had passed the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, under which plantation workers were not permitted to leave the fields. Workers interpreted the Gandhi Raj, they violated the act, and hence they were beaten by the police. So we need to understand here one very important thing here, that the non-cooperation movement created its impact in different areas in a different way. The people could not relate the original meaning of non-cooperation movement. They understood the meaning of non-cooperation in their own regional way. They understood that the meaning of non-cooperation movement in the plantation area is to get back the land in their own farmland, in their own village. Similarly, the people who were living in the peasants, they found the meaning of non-cooperation movement was to get free revenue or free rent from the landlords. So this is how the integration could not be made with the peasants. So we need to understand here the Swaraj in the plantation, be it rebellion in the countryside or be it town. So here we saw that in town or in countryside or in plantation, the movement was going on, but this movement could not last for a long. And finally, we can tell that because of these impact, the movement became unsuccessful at last. So we have to understand these three important areas was having its deep impact on the non-cooperation movement, or in other words, non-cooperation movement was interpreted in a different way in these three different areas. So we have to understand this, and this is how finally the movement became unsuccessful and movement could not last for a very long time. So this is all about in this video. Thank you so much.